What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined this morning by Daniel Starkand, who's taking a break from where he's the editor over at Lakers Nation. No Lakers news yet, Daniel. Can you promise the people some good news later today?
I mean, I just feel like that meme of like that guy just staring at his computer and then he slowly just becomes a skeleton just from staring and waiting for so long. Nothing yet. No promises coming from me, at least. I have no clue how long this is going to take. It seems like they're waiting on Klay Thompson at the moment, but hopefully we get something today because I'm tired of waiting at this point.
Well, if you are a Lakers fan and aren't already following the folks over at Lakers Nation, go ahead and do that. They're the best. Daniel's the editor of that site. And when Klay Thompson makes a decision, trades happen. They're the folks that are going to be breaking it down. Today, though, we're talking baseball, and we're talking specifically the home run derby. If you missed this over the weekend, Major League Baseball announced some changes to the home run derby format, Daniel, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. There are still 8 players in the competition, but this time there will no longer be a bracket in the first round. It will just be all 8 guys swing, top 4, advance. The tiebreaker is going to be the longest home run. Also, the format of the rounds is going to change. Rather than being timed and unlimited swing, basically as many swings as you can get off in a short amount of time, and in an effort to kind of make this safer for players who aren't just swinging repeatedly as hard as they can, they're basically going to set a limit on the number of swings you get. Pitches that you get. You get 40 pitches across a 3-minute round with 1 timeout. So if you get your 40 pitches done in 2 minutes, then you're done. You don't get to keep going. After the round finishes, there are bonus outs. Everyone gets 3 bonus outs, which is basically hit as many home runs as you can until you make 3 outs. If one of those home runs goes over 425 feet in the bonus period, you get a 4th out. So that kind of adds the element of, if you're down by 10 heading into the bonus round, you're not eliminated yet because technically you could go on a run. So I know that's a lot of information, Daniel, but give me your thoughts, just big picture on the format and whether or not this feels like an upgrade or a downgrade.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This feels like an upgrade to me. Like, I think I'd say the main issue for me, at least with the home run derby in recent years, is that the pitches are just coming too fast. Like, you can't even see where the balls are going. Like, and it's not uniform. Like, technically the rule was supposed to be like the ball has to land, then you throw the next pitch, but no one ever listened to that. So you got some guys who are just peppering in pitches left and right. And then you'd have that one guy who his pitcher is like a 60-year-old man or something and is taking forever. So he's at a disadvantage because of that. So this kind of makes it a more even playing field, I'd say. And hopefully we'll get to actually see where the balls land, because that's kind of the whole point of the home run derby. And also I'd say like another, I don't know if this is an issue, but something that I personally didn't like was with the matchups. Like sometimes you'd have a matchup where a guy hits 30 and the other guy hits 29, and the guy who hit 29 doesn't advance.
Yeah.
And then you have another matchup where a guy hits like 13 and the other guy hits 12 and the guy who hit 13 would advance. So this way the top 4 guys advance. That to me makes it the most fair. And then lastly, like you said, you kind of end with the old home run derby format, which I know I miss that a little bit, and I know other people have as well. So I do think these are good changes here. We'll have to see kind of how it all comes into play. Like, I reserve full judgment until we actually see the home run derby, and then we'll go from there. But on the surface, I do like these changes.
Yeah, and look, and players, if they've complained about like, hey, a normal batting practice, we're not trying to take as many hard swings as we can in a 2-minute stretch. If this allows them to sort of slow down a little bit, protect themselves, I think that's obviously best case scenario, because then in theory, you get the best players participating. Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles is the only person that has announced he's going to be participating. The question for us is whether or not any Dodgers will be competing. First, real quick, let's just go over Dodgers history. The Dodgers suck at hitting in the home run derbies. I was going back and looking. Mike Piazza was the first Dodger to ever participate. He participated in 93 and 94. You know how many combined home runs he hit in those 2 derbies, Daniel? 0. Zero home runs from Mike Piazza. Mondesi hit 2 in 95. Hee-Seop Choi hit 5, first-round loss. Matt Kemp, 2, first-round loss. Matt Kemp, 1, first-round loss. Yasiel Puig, 0, first-round loss. Jock Peterson in 2015 is basically our only saving grace. He lost in the finals. Corey Seager, 15 home runs, first round loss. Bellinger made it to the second round. Muncy made it to the second round. Jock Peterson again in 2019 made it to the second round. And then Mookie Betts, of course, lost in the first round last year. So the question is not just, is a Dodger going to participate, but is a Dodger actually going to make us proud in the home run derby for a change? Shohei Ohtani and Teoscar Hernandez, I would say, are the two names who are in contention. Ohtani, 26 home runs, tied with Gunnar Henderson for second in Major League Baseball. Teoscar Hernandez is 12th in Major League Baseball with 18 home runs, but he's actually fourth in the National League. Dave Roberts was asked whether or not he wants Shohei Ohtani to participate. He said he isn't so sure that it's a good idea. He would probably not want Ohtani to compete because of the physical exertion of the event with rounds and rounds of swings. This was the full quote. The one side of it for him to be in the home run derby, it's great for baseball. The other side of it, on the manager of the Dodgers side of it, you're trying to be more cautious and appreciating the fact there's a lot more swings, higher intensity, while he's going through his rehab process with his elbow. So do you think Shohei Ohtani should participate in the home run derby, Daniel?
Well, first of all, before I get to Shohei, I do just want to show a little love to Jock Peterson here because he is the one Dodger who has done the organization well in the home run derby.
True.
And
Twice.
kind of going back to that format, he kind of got screwed by it because I remember that one year where he and Vladdy had that like crazy round where they're hitting bombs left and right. I think it went to like double overtime. And that was the semifinals. Jock doesn't even make the finals, whereas everyone knew like these two guys should be in the finals. So now under this new format, they fixed that. But now to Shohei, like this might seem like an old man yelling at cloud meme, but I'd say no to Shohei doing the home run derby personally, and kind of for the same reasons Dave laid out. Like I'm not worried about him messing up his swing. Like I think that's kind of a myth that has been debunked in recent years. But I do think for a guy who's coming off, a significant elbow surgery and is having a great year, obviously, and has been healthy to this point, like you don't really want to risk that, especially during the All-Star break when he should be getting his rest and getting fresh for the second half. Like I don't want to see him up there taking 100, 200 swings, whatever it would be. I don't know what damage that would do to his elbow, but I'm also not willing to risk it considering like the reward here is very minimal. Like, Shohei went on to win the home run derby. We'd all say like, cool, good for Shohei. And then it kind of ends there. Like there's not a whole lot to gain from this. So, if Shohei wants to do it, like by all means, go ahead. But if he says no, I'm not going to be mad by any means. Like I'd rather him get that rest and be fresh for the second half.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I'm not worried just for the same reasons you said. I'm not worried about him messing up his swing. The guy is literally in the midst of rehabbing his elbow in hopes of potentially pitching or at least playing the field next season. So to risk any of that by max exertion swings, 40 of them in 3 minutes and then 40 of them in 3 minutes again if he were to advance, and then I think it's 27 in 2 minutes in the final round, like it's just crazy to me. So I would love to see him in there, but I don't think it makes any sense. I'm siding with Dave Roberts on this one. But that leads me to Teoscar Hernandez. He's fourth. He has 18 home runs. He feels like kind of the perfect guy to do this sort of a thing. He's not necessarily a national name, and yet he would be representing one of the biggest brands. As I kind of play this out, if Ohtani does in fact say no, Teoscar feels like a pretty solid bet to be in there because, again, I think they would love to have a Dodger in it. He can justify it as being fourth in the National League in home runs. And he would probably say yes because he's the type of guy that this might be the only chance he gets to be in this competition. So from my perspective, Teoscar Hernandez feels like a good bet to be in it. Would you like to see Teoscar Hernandez in the home run derby?
Yeah, no, I think you make, a good point. And to add on to that, like his season has kind of gone under the radar to this point, just because you got Shohei doing his thing. Mookie was doing his thing, Freddie and Will Smith, obviously. So there's not many people outside of LA that have been talking about Teoscar Hernandez. So if he gets up there in the home run derby, then that'll kind of draw a little more attention to himself for the year he's having, and rightfully so. And obviously he's only on a 1-year deal, so he's going to want to cash in at the end of this year. So that could potentially give him a little bit more exposure. And I'd be fine with it. Like I was saying earlier, like I'm not worried about these guys messing up their swings in the home run derby. And Teoscar is not coming off, an elbow surgery like the way Shohei is. So with that being said, I'd be fine with it. Like I think you asked me, like, do you want him to? Like, I wouldn't necessarily say like I want him to. Like, if he doesn't, I'm totally fine with that. But if he wants to participate and and represent the Dodgers, I'll definitely will be tuning in and rooting for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's always fun to have a Dodger in the competition, but it's also not like a deal breaker to me because, look, we've watched Dodgers fail in this event, and in some ways it's better to not participate than it is to have like the 0 home runs that Yasiel Puig hit in the home run derby. But I'll be curious to see how this plays out. Again, I think Major League Baseball is going to want a Dodger in it, and I think Teoscar Hernandez is kind of the logical one. It is worth pointing out, Ohtani has expressed some interest in participating in the home run derby, but did say he was going to talk it over with the Dodgers. And if Dave Roberts' comments are any indication, I think the Dodgers are going to make their message pretty clear about how they feel about things. So stay tuned for that. By the way, we are going to be doing a live show on the night of the home run derby post-event, and then a live post-game show after the All-Star game. So tons of content coming at you that week. If you missed Sunday night show with Blake and myself, we talked about 2 guys the Dodgers are reportedly targeting in trades, one of whom they've already made an offer to. We talked about Chris Taylor getting extended run at third base, as well as James Paxton, Tyler Glasnow's struggles. So go ahead and check that out, as well as we've got 15 interviews coming at you over the last few days and the next few days from Oklahoma City. I got to spend time with the Oklahoma City Baseball Club, the Dodgers AAA team, and got 13 player interviews, a coach interview, as well as the broadcaster interview. So those are going to be going up. And these are guys that you may not have heard of before. You may not be a big prospect person, but I'd encourage you. They're short, but they're just fun to hear from some of these guys who are trying to make their dreams come true, guys who have been up, but maybe are trying to get back, and just to hear their stories, whether they're first-round picks or undrafted guys. It was a lot of fun for me to do. So enjoy those over the next couple days on the Dodger Blue YouTube page as well. That is Daniel Starkand. Again, follow him at @DStarkand and check out Lakers Nation. All sorts of news coming from them this week, we hope, as free agency is officially open. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. As always, go Dodgers.